glad to have you join us on another edition of the program, Focus Live, right here on Ogtv, the People's Daily. I'm Dominic, and it seems so good to come your way again with another edition of the program, a program where we take a look at different issues affecting us in society. It's a no-holds-barred conversation. Yes, we say it as it is, regardless of who source it or not. Today is not going to be an exception. We are looking at something, that is apt and of course of importance as a matter of fact. Don't forget the 2027 elections are around the corner, and of course even the pre-election activities have actually started already, and in the next couple of months we are going to be having the quality as far as politics is concerned heated up, and then we get into the election sometimes next year, February and March next year. But we are actually taking a look at the role that social media plays in the midst of all of this. I think it was in 2015 that politicians actually got to realize the influence and the power of social media in actually pushing out the agenda, galvanizing support, and the rest of them. And then in 2019, it was also exploited, used by politicians. 2023, in fact, it went to another level. Now we are going to be looking at the different ways that social media can play, and of course how it can be better used. And are we doing it the right way? And these and many more we are going to be looking at in the next couple of minutes. Let me go on this quick break. When we come back, I'm going to be introducing my guest, and of course the conversation will begin. Do not go anywhere. The program is the Focus Live right here on Ogtv.
Staying hydrated is a festival of good health and nutrition because water is vital to life. The human body comprises of about 60% of water. Therefore, daily intake of water is essential. It helps in digestion, lubricating the joint, promoting healthy skin, regulating body temperature, maintaining normal blood pressure, and many more. Water is a natural medicine. Drink water regularly.
Thanks for joining us again. Yes, the program is still Focus Live, and we are taking a look at social media in modern politics. I have in the studio with me a political analyst and of course an ICT expert in person of engineer Ibitayo Taiwo. Yes, together, good to have you join us on the conversation.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dominic.
Now let's take a look at social media, how it is today, and how actively we have been engaging social media. What do you make of it? Particularly how politicians are using social media to push their agenda.
Thank you very much for having me here. Social media, it has both sides of the coin. That is the pros and the cons. Okay? Social media has, especially if you are looking at it in the political space, it has helped to bridge the gap in communication between politicians and the public, so to say. And you can now see there is faster communication between politicians and the public. You see, unlike before where we rely on traditional media, and this is obviously takes time, people can now reach a whole large masses, a whole large population of people directly through social media. And on the second part of it, it has also helped increase participation. Thereby, you don't need to be physically available to participate in political happenings. So social media has bridged the communication gap on the side of communicating directly to people and also encouraging and increasing participation. And of course, it has also created employment for so many people. Like you can see, people now have social media managers, people have media assistants. So it has also helped to create employment amongst the youth. But on the flip side of it is also the fast communication of fake news. You know, it has been a setback on the new technology we know as social media, having the very good side of it and also the bad side of it. So it also polarizes the political space because people can easily spread false news without necessarily verifying whatever they hear. I remember back in the days when the Chibok girls were kidnapped, and I think some weeks into that, we got news that they have been released, whereas it's false. But people were quick, because of the positivity of it, to quickly take to social media to say Chibok girls have been released. Meanwhile, it was fake news. So this is also the negative aspect of social media and its effect in the political space.
Some persons also believe that the fact that politicians now have the ability to, communicate directly to vast number of people, without going through traditional media. That is also dangerous because some of these politicians could actually, in the process of communicating, reaching their people, could be emotional and pass across their sentiments, which might not be good for the polity. How do you see that? Because if the traditional media is there, because of their training, and the sense of responsibility that they have in safeguarding the society, they can actually, temper or bring down, reduce the tempo of some messages, or better still, kill those messages completely from reaching out to the people. But when you are communicating directly to the people, your emotions, everything is going to the people raw. Do you think that has helped our political space or not?
Yes, politics itself it's about numbers.
Yes.
And people naturally will strategize on how to get numbers. And while it could be done the proper manner, some persons can also decide to take advantage of the negative part of it, which is the lack of verification, the lack of fact checking, So yes, you can see somebody like the President of the United States, Donald Trump, instead of addressing press conferences these days, he just goes through his social media channels too, to reach out to people directly. Whether what he's saying is false or true, it now behoves on traditional journalists to start fact-checking whatever he has said and try to control it. So yes, it can be used in a good way, but it can also be used in a bad way, which is why most social media platforms now are trying to deploy technology, especially in the area of artificial intelligence. To see that they could censor some of these whatever it is that is passed through social media. You can see, for example, X now. X does not need anybody to verify. If you post something to a large community that is false, automatically the platform flags it, and most times if it's seen to be quite dangerous, it will be taken down immediately, or there will be a flag attached to it that is correcting whatever information you have passed. So yes, people will continue to exploit, especially politicians will continue to exploit
for their gains.
But yes, technology is also improving to censor such malicious posts or messages.
So
yeah.
Let's I mean, still talking about censoring as a matter of fact. For instance, a politician, I mean, I'm just using it as an example.
Yes.
A politician actually makes some comments that could, I mean, we are divided along several lines:
yes.
religion, ethnic, and the rest of them. Now, a politician now makes a comment, that is capable of further dividing us across either religious or ethnic lines and the rest of them. So is there a technology, on X, as you rightly said, because most of these politicians use that platform. Is there a technology that will flag that? Absolutely.
Not just on X, it's also on major platforms too, like Instagram, Facebook. If you post anything malicious, automatically their artificial intelligence agents will flag it immediately, especially if it's inciting. For example, you are asking the masses because you have an issue with your opponent. You are asking your people to go out and kill or go out and damage and destabilize. It will be taken down immediately. It does not even need to be reported, and it has been improving, unlike some years back whereby nothing was censored and it caused a lot of, and in situations where security needs to step in, we have seen a lot of cases where our security agencies have stepped in to apprehend 1 or 2 persons because of what they posted on X that is capable of inciting the masses. Even apart from politics, we have seen some religious posts that were seen to be inciting, and we found out that our security agencies quickly stepped in to physically detain such persons. Yeah.
So let's take a look at how much of influence, do you think the social media has, in actually, changing an individual's political beliefs? I mean, because yes, we often see these politicians going to the extent, of getting, even influencers to push their agenda on their behalf, to sell them and project them in a positive light and the rest of them. How much of power do you, I mean, I'm sure you must have, at one point or the other, taking, critical look at this. So how much of power does social media have in, changing people's political beliefs?
Okay, so of course we have to agree that the media, not just social media, is a powerful tool to send out messages, to send out messages to the masses. Likewise in politics, if used properly, it can change narratives very easily, especially when you are reaching a larger masses at the same time. Now going to the issue of influencers that have a lot of following can easily use their status to influence people. For example, you see politicians reach out to musicians, reach out to actors, reach out to maybe some on-air personalities that are very popular to send messages from them. And why are they doing that? Because these people still have some level of credibility amongst their followers and fans. For example, if a popular musician like Davido has said, go and vote for this person, or I like this person, I think you should like him too. Naturally, his fans, and he has a lot of following, will naturally divert to that side. So yes, there's serious impact when it comes to using social media to garner supporters. Politicians have used it in the right manner. I'm also a politician, and we try to do it within legal means to see how we can influence narratives and send out messages. And it's not just social media. There are also technological platforms that you can reach people directly through their mobile phones. Those are used to send messages out, and because it is instant, you feel you are able to measure the impact quickly, and maybe you need to correct something or you need to change your strategy of approach, you can do that. But yes, there's very high impact when it comes to using social media to garner support for yourself as a person.
And is it because you are able to measure your feedback almost immediately? I mean, is that why we have most politicians going that route. I mean, most of them go to the extent of using a lot of influencers, as their essays and the rest of them. They have them on their payroll.
Yes, just like we said earlier, because of the speed at which messages can be disseminated via social media platforms, even now you even find traditional media moving to the social media, because before they were trying to, it was a competition, but later they said, hey, this thing has come to stay, and now you will find traditional media houses on social media. So the impact is massive. The impact is massive. It's not just a national level, it's at a global level. That's why you see countries like America, in a jiffy, they can quickly know what's going on in Nigeria, especially when it comes to these security issues they are monitoring now. Somebody can easily post, and it gets straight to these people. Like, for example, the pastor that was posting from the north about massive killings, these messages quickly got to America, and that is how it is. It's not just a national level, it is global. Anything you push to the internet now is on a global stage, so the impact is very high, and we just need to continue to seek ways to see how it can be controlled and used legally. Some countries that have put really stringent measures on their social media usage, and some have put minimal, just to try to control how using it negatively. Like countries like North Korea, they are so strict on social media. Countries like China, they are stricter but lesser. Then some countries like Egypt, for example, are censored social media, whereby when you are less than 16 years old, you cannot use some social media platforms like Instagram, like X. So the censorship is cutting across board, and I think it's also a good time for us as a country to also begin to look at these regulations without necessarily stifling the freedom of people to the right of to express themselves. Yes, thank you.
So often at times I hear politicians actually saying that there is no polling unit on social media. No polling unit on social media, no constituency on social media. So if you are just on social media doing you are on your own.
I think that has been proven not to be totally accurate. Whereas I also agree to some level of extent, even if you have used social media to market to your people for support, you still require the physical, which is where the vote comes in. But yes, a lot of people, for example, because of the social media buzz, I see a lot of people going to register for party. This didn't happen in the last election. People are actually registering to become party members, and this helps because of the social media buzz, which is saying there is e-registration now. The new policy of direct primaries, which means the party members are actually going to vote for their candidates. So this has moved people to register for party to become official party members, not just let me go and vote on election day, or not just social media. I know a lot of people that have registered with the APC, the ADC, the NDC, even the NDC, because they have opened electronic platforms and allow people to register easily. So yes, social media is not the primary constituency when it comes to election, but yes, it is moving people from there to the physical.
And sometimes we also see some online polls, before the election. I mean, a notable political party, that quite a number of persons. I mean, some persons have actually been conducting polling. I mean, conducting like an online poll. Asking people which ticket would you actually prefer, and the rest of them. But do you think, I mean, it has the power to determine what happens in real life?
Yes, it does. You see those polls. Some people, maybe when you are more experienced in politics, you might want to wish it away. But those polls actually move people. It helps them to make an opinion of a particular situation. If a popular TV station goes on social media and does a poll, that poll is going to influence people's opinion about whatever it is that has been put up. It might not translate totally to physical support, but yes, it will move people. I don't know if I can mention this. The obedient movement in 2023 used social media to move, and everybody felt the impact. Yes, now if you look at translating it to physical votes, we could see that there was massive gap from what they have online to what they had at the physical elections. But yes, it really helped them also to gather a lot of votes on the physical level. So the gap is closing with time, and before you know it, it will get closer, and social media will really have higher influence than what it is currently. Yeah.
Now the program is still focused live right on Ogtv, and yes, we are taking a look at social media in modern politics, how we are navigating, using the social media in determining our political fate. Now let's take a look at quite a number of those in the conventional media actually seeing the social media as expectedly so, as a competing platform.
Yeah.
Yes, we have admitted the fact that, and of course it's what's happening, quite a number of conventional media platforms are actually also taking their own space on social media as well. And so it means that the power of determining what the people should hear or should know, which used to be in the hands of the editor, or the producer, who has actually been trained. That power is no longer, starting and ending with him.
Yes.
So it means that one or two influencers out there also have that power that the editor has.
Yes.
Most times some of these influencers have not even been trained. Some of these influencers have not even, don't even have the basics. Exactly, or don't even have, they are only concerned about themselves, because of course they are paid, for this particular gig or whatever it is. Now, how do we, begin to reconcile this? Because whether we like it or not, a sane society, a better society, is the goal, and should be the goal.
Okay, so this is where regulation comes in. Social media has come to stay, and it came with its pros and its cons, and this is very difficult to manage. So that's why, just like every other technology, it keeps improving when it comes to the area of regulation. Like 5 years ago, you could not censor social media. Now we can censor social media at different criteria: age, content, and what have you. So social media is very powerful, being a strategy, a part of the strategy to drive what we popularly know as the New World Order. Social media is one of the tools that has been used to drive this global narrative, and it will be very difficult to wish it away. So regulation, like I said earlier, is very pertinent.
Now, can we rely on the regulation that these platforms?
Yes.
Because earlier you said that the platforms themselves have their own. So it's like self-censoring.
Yes.
What is accommodated or what is allowed on these platforms.
Yes.
Now, can a country, allow that to just be? That is just the regulation that the platform is giving, that is also working for our own social media space. Because I feel that some of those censorship that is done or that is programmed, they are not reflective of the peculiarities of each nation.
Yes. So thank you. So that is most of these regulations you see is not just from the platform owners. It's mostly also comes from requests from government organizations. For example, I think we remember there was a time during the Buhari administration, Twitter was shut down in Nigeria for a couple of days. That is government regulation, saying we don't need Twitter for now because of the dispute that happened then. So government agencies usually regulate what comes into their country, and it rests on the platforms to to meet that regulation. Otherwise, they are going to lose a lot of market. Take for example, Nigeria now, we have I think about 80 million internet users as we speak, and there is no platform that will want to lose such a market. So that's why it is around the globe when governments look at their own scenario and then talk to the platforms to see how they can regulate. For example, like I said in Egypt recently, they had to work with social media platforms to restrict the age of internet usage from 16 above. You know, so that is the issue they identified in that country. In China, they don't want adult websites on their platform. They reach out to the internet users and these social media platforms to regulate that. So countries, it goes on the country to identify its own issues and then work with the platform. For example, I know recently the FCCPC, the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission in Abuja, they recently had a back-to-back with Facebook to regulate some of their content in Nigeria, especially relating to tax issues. So anytime a country identifies an issue or a loophole that needs to be checked, they can easily relate with these platforms to regulate it. So yes, it now rests on the organization responsible for that in Nigeria. I know NCC2 has one or two relations with these global platforms, and I'm aware they have been doing some regulations to also control what comes in. You know, but the problem with Nigeria, because we are a peculiar environment with various demography of people, it is easy. It's not so easy to control one thing without hurting the other. And then we are trying to see not to take away people's freedom of expression. So I know that is an issue, but yes, when a country identifies a scenario that needs to be checked, yes, they are able to relate with global platforms to regulate it.
Now, before we go on the break, let us also take a look at another thing that you know, Nigerians have actually used the social media for, and it is calling out government, criticizing policies and the rest of them. How would you describe, you know, how that has been done and the reaction, you know, from the political elite?
Yeah. So looking at it closely, it's both ways. Some have taken criticism the positive way, and some have taken it negatively. Just yesterday, I was reading in the news. There's a guy from Ibadan that proposed a solution for the Lagos State government from the usage of the public toilets they just deployed. And this guy has come with a solution that helps people identify public toilets close to them. So for example, you are around Oshodi, you can always go on the app and see the closest public toilet to you. You know, so the feedback that Lagos State government did there is one of the advantages of using social media, because the guy just simply went on X and said, I can't remember the commissioner now, and put up his speech very quickly, and he picked it up and they invited him and they've adopted the solution. So also on the negative part, when people want to criticize, they need to do it without hurting anybody's fundamental human rights. You know, it has to be done within acceptable means. You know,
are you basically saying that all of the draggings that, you know, sometimes some of these criticisms,
yes,
you know, lead to they have not been properly channeled?
It's okay to drag somebody as long as you are dragging, like for example, you are dragging a politician.
No, I mean sometimes when somebody calls out a government or a state government or the federal government on one policy or the other, you know, you see the supporters of that government, you know, or those who share the same political belief with that government coming to drag the person,
and also oppose,
you know, and opposing and the rest of them.
Yes. Unfortunately, it's social media, and just like we said, we do not have control over what people do, and then that will come. But yes, I know some people handle it better than the others. Like, for example, if for example, I'm a leader and I see my followers opposing somebody for criticizing me, I can decide to say, okay, this thing you have said, I understand, but this is what is actually happening. This is what we are looking at to resolve this issue, you know. So sometimes I think politicians, like I said, if done properly, without necessarily putting the politician on the spot, can accept. I've seen it happen a lot of times. A lot of people have listened to criticism and accepted it, gave reasons, engaged the person, adjusted where need be, and most times the people will still come back and say, oh, I dragged this person, and after communicating with the person, oh, I've seen reasons with what is going on with that particular situation. You know, but yes, you can't really control what happens when such comes, and your followers you can't really control that, because of course they are your supporters. They will want to protect your image at whatever it will cost them.
So can we really control how people drag? Maybe, I mean, if social media usage, you know, is brought into our school curriculum, you know, and where people will be taught the tenets, you know, of how to engage people responsibly. I mean, your fellow human beings on social media or even institutions responsibly and respectfully. Maybe if that is brought into our school curriculum, I mean, people can learn it, and then when they grow up, they use social media. I mean, that teaching that they've gotten right from, I mean, primary or secondary school days, you know, it will guide them. And because recently somebody was calling out a state government, and he was using all manner of, you know, vulgar words.
Exactly.
You know, that people were like, oh, the government or the governor should, you know, arrest the person or, you know, sue the person and the rest.
You know, that's what I said. You have to do it in the acceptable manner. You know, I can't want to drag a government and say you are stupid. You are definitely, the security agencies might need to step in. But I can say this your policy has not created impact. What can you do? You know, then they, even the way you communicate could even make you get a response from them. When you have communicated properly, the governor can say, this guy, what he's saying, he is okay, can we respond to him? Then his media team and probably himself can respond to such persons and try to engage the person, and then they move forward from there. But of course, if it's done in the bad manner, it has to be controlled. Yes, I've seen where people have posted stuff like that, and others will come and report their account and say this social account has posted, and then the platform can edit it, can review and take that particular post down if it's found to be against their rules. You know, so it happens. People must do it. People are different. People must use it good. People must use it in a bad way as well. But the control is there, and like I said, daily it's improving how they control so many of these things. You know, some social media influencers have been arrested in the past for using inciting words against government. So, and some criticize every day, and nobody can do anything because they are doing it in the right way. Yes, they play by the rules. So it now builds on the user to learn to play by the rules. You know, because when they are saying it, some people will be telling you, I'm not doing free something tomorrow, this thing you have posted, and then when the person gets arrested, say, this is what he posted. Not because they don't want, you cannot criticize the government, but because you have criticized not in a negative manner. So yes, the control is there. The control is there.
Yes, the program is to Focus Live right here on Ogtv, the People's Daily. We'll go on this quick break. When we come back, the conversation is going to continue. And then you also at home, you will have the opportunity to be part of it, you know, because our numbers will actually be placed on the screen where you can call us. Do not go anywhere. The program is to Focus.
Staying hydrated is a festival of good health and nutrition because water is vital to life. The human body comprises of about 60% of water. Therefore, daily intake of water is essential. It helps in digestion, lubricating the joint, promoting healthy skin, regulating body temperature, maintaining normal blood pressure, and many more. Water is a natural medicine. Drink water regularly.
Cybercrime is a way of using telecommunications network to defraud innocent people. Avoid any form of cybercrime. If caught, you will face the law. Say no to fraud and fraudulent cyber interference in people's lives. Report any form of cybercrime to the appropriate authority. Cybercrime is against the law. Avoid it.
Glad to have you join us again. The program is still focused live right here on Ogtv, the People's Tele. And yes, we have actually been taking a look at social media in modern politics. My guest is still here, engineer Ibitayo Taiwo, a political analyst, and of course an ICT expert. Together, we have actually been looking at how social media has actually been used in our political engagement as a nation, from canvassing for votes, pushing political agenda, or the government, pushing a particular policy and the water views. Now, the number for you to call will be there on the screen. It's that time of the program where you have the opportunity to be part of it. Feel free to call us. If it is question, if it is contribution, we will actually take all of them. Yes. Now, my guest is still here. Let's take a look at it. I mean, sometimes, I think it was in 2019, I can't remember, in the US. I mean, I think it was Trump that was banned by Twitter. Now, I mean, looking at that, is that not an infringement? I mean, that has not happened in our own space, but for the strongest and the most powerful politician, because at that time he was the president of the United States, sitting president. Now, for that kind of, person with such caliber and such power and influence to be banned, it's like sending a message to all politicians world over that if you cross certain boundaries, you can also be banned by this platform. Now, don't you think that's an infringement on his right? If an entire platform that, millions, billions of people are on, is actually easing out, an individual.
Yes. So, personally, I think he deserves to be banned. Because if you follow the tweets of Donald Trump at the time, they were very inciting. They were direct at some members of the parliament. And it was at the same period he incited people to go and invade the Capitol building. These are against regulations. So, and America is controlled by institutions, not individuals. And when they don't take that seriously, then people may decide that to also latch on that and say, well, the president is doing it, so why can't I? And if you remember, it took a while before it was actually taken down, because the debate went back and forth as to whether what he has done was right on one side and whether they should ban the president of the United States. So it also took them a lot of time before they were able to decide that, okay, I think he needs to be banned, because it was very inciting. I think I can even remember some of the tweets. And eventually the Capitol building was invaded.
Yes. So people lost their lives.
Yes. And he was actually charged for that. I think the case was later struck out, but he was charged for that. So for you to see that a president of the largest country in the world can't be banned, that means the regulations are strict. You know, even sometimes when you go against the regulations by mistake, maybe you have typed something that they are AI agents will flag by default, you are banned immediately or you are restricted. Then maybe by the time you do one or two communications with them to review what it is, then they will ask you, okay, delete it, or we have taken down that particular post, but you have your account back, you can, they do so many things just to make sure it's within their regulations. So sometimes even if it's not intended, once you go against it, they restrict you, then you can do that. So the issue of regulation is not taken lightly at all. It's not taken lightly at all. So yes, anybody can fall for that.
Now, in conventional media, I'm not saying that is the practice as we speak.
Yes.
But in the past, when politics was still very, very hot, and people have not really been, this enlightened politically. You will have a media house that is controlled by a particular politician, saying that the opposition should not the opposition candidate and his activities should be cleaned out. Should not be given should not be allowed
giving audience
at all. And so people don't get to hear anything about that candidate or his parties or his programs on that particular media house. Yes. Be it electronic or print and the rest of them. Now, some persons feel that probably that could be happening on social media too. Probably it might not actually happen, in the general sense of it happening, but probably through, reducing the visibility of a particular candidate or his activities and the rest of them, reducing it, and then pushing another candidate more to the people, through algorithm, pushing it more, to people's faces and people's feeds and the rest of them. Is that possible?
It's not possible technically. Not that it's not possible, but it doesn't exist. If they want it to exist, it will. Because of course you can see, for example, social media advertisements. It depends on how much you pay. If you pay a certain amount, it will push to maybe 1,000 people. If you pay higher, to push to 10,000 people. So the technology is there, but that particular yes, the technology is there. So, but that particular policy is not in existence. What can happen on social media is when something is being pushed, you can push a counter narrative to overshadow that. It's called optimization. So you can try to push something.
Okay.
For example,
hold your thoughts. Let's see who is on the line.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Yes, very well, very well. What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Ade. I'm calling from London.
Oh, good to have you, Ade, calling from London.
Yes, my greetings to your guest.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
My view about this social media in Nigeria is that we don't have a strong cyber law, and we needed that to be enforced before the election. Otherwise, you might see results before the result comes out, and they can do it in a perfect way that it is very difficult to deny, and that can cause a lot of problems in our country. See, when I watch having 4 mobile phones, 4 in his hand, I said, what are you doing with 4 mobile phones? It's blind. You don't need that. So we need a serious law. Otherwise, look at what happened to Chairman of INEC. Somebody just figure out something, and it comes to a lot of law. So we need a serious law. We can make law in Nigeria, but enforcing it is a problem. Because we don't have political way to enforce it. And if they are not careful, with the election coming, people might bring out a fake one, and it will look like real one. With AI now, you can imagine. So we should be serious about this law, not just by saying it by mouth. You understand what I'm saying? So that just pray. We don't want violence, we don't want bloodshed. With the election, let it go peacefully. whoever the senators or presidents for the law, we should be serious about this law. God bless Nigeria and God bless us.
Thank you so much, Ade. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Now, react to the question.
Yes. So I understand what he's saying, and I remember during the Buhari administration, the late about 2017 thereabouts, and they tried to push some social media regulation law. There was an uproar that said no, they are trying to stifle opposition. You know, so these are the issues in our environment. We are diverse people with different demography, and it's very difficult to implement social media law. But however, I agree absolutely with him. Yes, some people might not be happy, but social media regulation needs to be improved. You know, so I'm also calling on the relevant government agencies to not be deterred by public opinion and put some regulations in order, at least to a reasonable extent, to control some of these things. And I think.
And don't we have any law whatsoever that is actually guiding activity?
We have the cybercrime bill.
Yes,
it's existing.
And you think that cannot also?
It has helped a bit. It has. Social media like 5 years ago is not what it is.
Yes, I understand.
So the cybercrime law.
For you to actually be saying we need more laws, does it mean that cybercrime law, is not potent enough to really address whatever?
No, it's not yet.
It's not.
Even as a technology person myself, there are terrorists on TikTok. You know, they are checking people's page. Like the guy that was released 2 days ago, Abba also. They called him after he was released that, oh, you have now resumed work. You know? And the person that was posting it on social media was asking, how did they get your number? He said probably on his TikTok page because he's a tailor and he places adverts on his TikTok page.
And his contact is also
there. So they called him. The kidnapper that kidnapped him called him. You know? And we've seen kidnappers posting after they kidnapped people. You know? Displaying wads of cash. I saw one few days ago, it was actually shocking. Displaying wads of cash they got from ransom payment on TikTok and social. So I think the government can also step in this kind of area and say, TikTok, if we are not able to track your digital footprints online, because there should be digital footprints on any platform, then we'll block TikTok from Nigeria. And then TikTok.
But of course, we do not. I don't think we really need a law to do that. The government can give a directive because that's like
yes, but you know, because of the diplomacy that is involved, yes, they could first of all have a back and forth, and then if TikTok is not meeting up with their requirements, they can decide to block TikTok from it. Twitter was blocked because of something like this as well. And most countries, when Germany blocked off Twitter too, I think last year.
I think Twitter was blocked because it puts down Buhari's comments.
Exactly. No, that's what people say. But yes, if that it is, then it also goes against his right of expression, you know. So, but I think that's political anyway. But yes, it can be improved.
I think from London also raised another fundamental issue, really. And then I want you to react to that as a tech guy, really. The INEC chairman issue.
Yes.
Do you think that could have been doctored?
I have a cybersecurity team myself, and we've tried to look into it, and you can't actually tie the account to him. You need more stringent investigations, which I don't have, to be able to actually do that. You can see that account is now under protection. And I think, if I remember clearly, somebody claimed to retrieve the account that the account was originally his. And the person has retrieved the account, and that's why the name was changed. But just like I mentioned earlier, there are digital footprints. Anything you do on social media is being tracked. Like now, I can tell AI now to show me my first tweet on Twitter. You know, I'll give him my username, and he's going to bring out my first tweet on Twitter. You know, so there are digital proof. It will tell you when you joined. It will tell you if you change your username. So all those things are there. But I think it requires some more investigation to actually be able to say this account is tied to so many people. There was a day I was just in my house and I saw a call from Senator Natasha Abeokuta. You know, and when I picked up the call, Senator Natasha said that you will send 20,000 to her. Of course, you know that was not Senator Natasha, you know. So there's a lot of loopholes that is still being exploited on social media. So just saying somebody is this because his name is there is very dangerous. There are identity thefts happening every time on social media and offline. Identity thefts are there. There are some people you even check the profile, you see their phone number, their email address, everything, but they are not the one. But people are using it to exploit others for different reasons. So I don't think that thing is a serious issue. And even if it is, it happened in 2023. The INEC chairman was just a professor who has the right to associate with, politically. So I think it's just an issue that
if he has the right to associate politically, yes, he has the right as a professor, you know, but now having that person to occupy the position of the INEC chairman, I mean, to be difficult to be able to guarantee or ascertain that it will remain, you know, biased. I mean, it will remain indifferent.
Yes. So, but can we also prove?
I agree with you. I agree with you that we cannot. Yes, I agree with you that we cannot prove that he was really the one.
No, that's not what I want to say. Can we even also prove that the president of the country, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is aware that he liked APC or he supported APC in the past? You can't prove it. You know, when some of these things happen, the president
people don't get to know the president directly. So recommendations from one or two persons.
So the president could just get nominations, send it to whoever it is that does the vetting, send it to the security agencies to get the person and appoint the person. So you can't exactly say. I think it's just been people are just being political about
2027 elections. Before anything even gets to the mainstream media, I remember, I think it was last Tuesday or thereabouts.
Okay.
It was while we were preparing for our major bulletin.
Okay.
You know, we saw on social media that Ogun State has actually, Ogun State APC has actually chosen Senator Yayi as its consensus candidate on social media. You know, while we were planning to go on and then we had to verify and then add it to our bulletin and the rest of them. So it means that a lot of things, you know, must get to social media, you know, very fast, as a matter of fact. Looking at the social media, do you think it will play a serious role, you know, in deciding the direction of 2027 election?
Yes, it will. I remember a situation where I think it was 2019 election, and in the morning of the election, it was on social media that one candidate had stepped down for the other candidate, and they were even sending SMS messages directly to people's phones to say this person has stepped down for this person. Before there could be a counter narrative, a lot of damage had been done.
His followers have
gone. A lot of damage has been done already. So social media remains open and can be exploited. You know. So, but something like that has happened. Can you actually tie it
to one person?
It's not possible. You know, somebody else, the person's follower can do it without telling that person. So you know, you can't. There's still that loophole that hopefully, with time, some of them will be addressed. Yes. So
thank you so much for your time with us this afternoon. Of course, we have been looking at social media in modern politics. Our guest has been Engineer Taiwo, a political analyst, and of course an ICT expert. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much.
And we also thank you so much for watching the program Focus Live right here on Ogtv. Next week we are going to be back again with another edition. Enjoy the rest of your week.
Thank you.